evening. You're watching Estuary News. Coming up, we visit Fort Paul to learn more about its history. And we hit the streets for another dialect word in What You Say. And joining me in the studio are Heather Barrett and John Haywood to talk about the 1940s weekend. Welcome to Estuary News. I'm Emma Lingard. Now it's over to Erica Barker for the news headlines.
It's feared hundreds of jobs could go at Young Seafood in Grimsby. They say they've not retained a processing contract with Sainsbury's and that this has had a financial impact. A potential 330 jobs could be axed. MP for Cleethorpes Martin Vickers raised the issue at Prime Minister's questions. David Cameron says they are in talks with employees and that they will assist during this difficult time. In addition, continuing to provide supports for the Regional Growth Fund. Humberside Police are encouraging horse riders in our region to become community safety volunteers. The Rural Community Safety Scheme involves a team carrying out at least 2 one-hour horseback patrols a week in a bid to reduce the fear of crime, reporting any suspicious activity to
It's really an
police.
extension of the volunteers and utilising the best skills that our volunteers can bring, both for Humberside Police and Humberside Fire and Rescue. It's the eyes and the ears, really, out within the community, the rural communities. And I'd liken it very much like to Neighbourhood Watch, but Neighbourhood Watch on horseback.
A public inquiry into controversial plans for 160 new homes in Scartho got underway yesterday. The planning application for the development submitted by Sidon Homes was turned down last year by North East Lincolnshire Council Planning Committee, despite officers recommending its approval. While representatives of Scartho Village Action Group, Sidon Homes and North East Lincolnshire Council put forward their opening statements at the hearing, the inquiry is expected to last 6 days. And the University of Hull has secured £40 million worth of investments. The money comes from the European Central Investment Bank, which invests billions in universities around the country. It comes on the back of Hull's recent investments in its library, concert hall and new students' accommodation.
The things that we particularly look out for are ambitious but value for money projects, which will make a clearly important measurable contribution to the development of the university. We like to look at research facilities, we like to support accommodation, refurbishment, and in particular we like to see where the university itself and the development of the university is also going to have an important knock-on effect to the wider economy.
And that's the latest.
Thank you, Erica. Now, a corner of Lincolnshire is set to come alive to the sounds of the 1940s when living history reenactors from around the country descend on Tattershall. Joining me in the studio are Heather Barrett and John Haywood, who are the organisers behind the event. Welcome both. You're no strangers, of course, to the Estuary studios. Just to remind us, how many years has this event been running for?
12 years.
12 years.
12
Yes.
years.
Yeah.
With the pair of you behind
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Yes. That's
Okay.
right.
Yes.
That's a long time, isn't it, for organising?
It is, and we have more people through the gate each year, don't we?
Mm.
Yeah.
We're absolutely chock-a-block this year.
And it's all for charity. It is to keep the buildings and the museum going. So
Yeah.
And everybody's volunteers, so they all give their time. These ex-RAF guys. We've got a Vulcan chiefy
Right.
who was, on the Vulcans when they were
Yes.
flying, obviously.
Yeah.
And they all give a bit of time.
Okay. And it's, of course, it's held at Thorpe Camp.
It is.
Just explain to us, John, what was Thorpe Camp?
Thorpe Camp is what was part of RAF Woodhall Spa.
Okay.
The living section of it.
Mm-hmm.
The original buildings, that is.
Yes.
And all the money that goes through the door, through the ticket office, goes to pay for sand, cement, concrete, wood,
Right.
to keep the thing going, because they didn't think that they'd last that long.
Okay. Because it's now obviously a visitor attraction,
It
isn't
is,
it? In
yes.
which you guys
It is,
belong
yeah.
to the trust there. Just going back to the event then that you're having, why did you set this up?
Well, I used to fly. I was a private pilot,
Right.
and then I got arrhythmia, so I couldn't fly. And Heather lived in the States for a period of time, and she used to fly.
Right.
So we wanted to do something that was RAF orientated, if you understand.
Yeah.
So the display that we do is everything to do with the RAF.
Okay.
We've got a 1943 Willys Jeep that is RAF, and all the bits that we display are to do with the RAF.
Okay. Brilliant. And obviously, it sounds like it's a fantastic fun weekend.
It is,
Oh,
yeah.
it is.
Yeah. And you say you watching visiting numbers go up all the time?
Yes,
Well-
each year there's more and more through the gate. isn't
Yeah,
there?
I mean, this we're absolutely chock-a-block because we have a perimeter fence, obviously with it being a museum normally, and we can't. We need a bungee fence really to
Right.
get everyone in.
So,
Right.
so that's the stall holders and the reenactors.
Yes.
That's full,
Yeah.
or virtually full, isn't it? We're
Yeah.
squeezing people in.
Wow.
But no, we're not full. We need visitors through
You
the
need,
gate.
you need them to
general
come
public,
through the
the general
Yes,
door. Yeah,
yes, through the
I mean,
gate.
what types of things can people expect to see over that weekend?
The entertainment, Heather organises the entertainment side of
Yes,
it.
there's singing and dancing on the lawn all day long.
Right.
So there's chairs if anyone wanted to sit down. And we have our Marlena Rube singing 1940s songs with
Okay.
Frank on the music. And they bring the little evacuees along.
Right.
And they sing and join in. And
Yeah.
they're learning to stroll as well now. We've got Lucy Lane, Harmony Bell. We've got the Bomber County Budders.
Right.
The Blitz Dancers, and we have Winston Churchill be calling in to say a couple of his famous speeches there.
Wow.
And then, of course,
Brilliant.
we've got the military side, haven't we?
Okay.
Yes, we've got scenarios and dioramas
Yeah.
with the RAF, the Army,
Yeah.
Americans, the American Airborne.
Lots of things going on. I'm going to have to stop you there, John, but we'll come back to this, so stay where you are. It's now time for another word in What You Say. Can you guess what the word means this week?
That's the rear entrance to your house.
Going down the yard, going down your passageway sort of thing.
10 foot, that's at back of your house, where your garage is usually. Back at 10 foot, it's like an alleyway, well, kind of an alleyway. It's in between the garages usually, we used to play football.
Back alley.
Back lane, ginnel, maybe not so much a ginnel. A ginnel is more a path.
If you're going down the alley, the back alley.
That's a passage at the back of the houses that we call up north. Otherwise, it's a ginnel or something like that.
Well, a 10 foot is on the back of your terrace house, isn't it? So you're walking down the 10 foot.
What it is, it's a passageway at the end where you can park your car.
10 foot is like an alley, an alleyway.
I know what it means. Down a close.
Just alley or, well, snicket's another word. That's a West Yorkshire word, snicket.
You're going down an alley. You're going down a... in between houses.
Stick it?
Yeah, a passage, innit?
Well, yeah, but it's the alley. Where I come from, it's the alley.
Going down back of your house, have a game of football, something like that.
10 foot. Yeah, well, in Grimsby we used to have what we call 8 foots. Little passage between houses.
I could never understand 10 foot. It's about 4 foot wide. How do they call it a 10 foot?
I don't know, mate. You have to tell us. Go on.
I want to see Grimsby put on the map.
Extraordinary qualities, unmatched in anywhere else in Britain.
We need to act with one voice.
I was absolutely shocked, I'll tell you the truth.
More police officer hours spent on patrol preventing crimes from happening.
You're watching Estuary News. Coming up later, we visit Fort Paul near Hull, which is one of the last Napoleonic forts in the country. And Erica Barker will bring you the sports news. Now, still with me in the studio are Heather Barrett and John Hayward talking about the forthcoming 1940s weekend. Now, we were talking just before then about the military vehicles that you've got there, John. I mean, what can people expect to see?
Well, there are these military vehicles, these motorcycles. We've got vintage cars of all description.
Okay, yes.
We've got the NAFI, where you can go in and have a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, and it's all home baked.
Lovely piece of cake.
We've also got outside catering, and for the guys, we've got a beer tent.
Right, yes, essential.
We've also, on Saturday night, we've got the Ashby Little Big Band, which are, I think there's about 8 of them, and they're playing all the 1940s. So if anyone wants to join us, it's just pay on the door at building number 14. That's the one across the top, right at the very top.
It's a special event, that, because it's the first time we've ever had one at the camp.
Okay, so this is a 1940s dance that people can go. Are they expected to wear the because both of you look absolutely fabulous. Do you expect people to come along dressed up?
We don't.
We
to
don't.
the dance, do you mean?
Yes.
They don't have to.
Okay.
If they want
but
to,
they do.
yes.
Oh, well.
They don't have to, but they do. They want to dress. This, you know, they see people, and the amount of people that we speak to, oh, how did you get into that, and where did you start, and where did you? So on over the weekend, they can look at all the stalls that we have, and they're all selling 1940s attire.
Exactly, so they can buy their outfits.
They can
join the dance, can't they? I mean, this is it. What do you think's the appeal of the 1940s? Because there are so many events like this, aren't there? And obviously, you two are great lovers of this era. What is it?
For me, it's the music and the dance.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yours is probably memories, isn't it?
It is, yeah, because a lot of our family were in the First World War and the Second World War, and it's remembering the people. It's not glorified war in what, you know, because Sunday morning we have a service.
Okay.
For the 3 squadrons that were there, and everybody takes part in that. You know, there's a saluting base and everything.
Yes.
That lasts about an hour and a half. It obviously varies, but the general public come in to, you know, and everybody stands and watches that, etc. And that's the whole part of it. And we lay wreaths at the memorial on the campsite as well. You know, so it's
it means so much to lots of different people, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And we have loads of veterans come along as well.
Okay.
So I like to chat to the veterans. I mean, last year we were over in Arromanch, Gold Beach, where the British came ashore for 12 days. And the amount of guys that were there, some of them that we met, it was the first time they'd been since they were there last time, where they rushed straight off the boat and never saw anything and were off to Berlin.
Right, yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's those type of people, and each year they're getting less and less and less. You know.
But it's such an education for children as well, school children.
Yeah.
They can learn so much.
They can, definitely.
Yes.
Just going back to the reenactors, did you say what, about 350?
That's actually taking part.
That are taking part.
Yes.
And do they literally come from all over the country, do they, for this event?
As far as Northumberland, the Welsh coast, this guy comes from Plymouth.
Right.
So it's a big, you know, it's really a very large area that people go to the events. When we first started doing this, was probably one a month.
Okay. So
you know, in the summertime.
Yeah.
Not ours, visiting others.
You know, the other events.
Yeah.
And we've helped to set up about 5 other events within a short distance of where we are. Now we've got dancers nearly every weekend, 40s dancers.
I'm going to have to stop you there, John. Okay. Just to remind people, that event is on July the 11th.
It is the 11th and 12th.
At Thorpe Camp.
At Thorpe Camp.
Brilliant. Well, thank you both for coming in. Thank you.
That's okay.
Thank you very much.
With events having taken place last week across the country to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the Battle of Waterloo, we stayed closer to home. There's a Napoleonic fortress on our doorstep, and Erica Barker has been to Fort Paul to find out what it was used for and whether it did any good against Napoleon.
Many historical events are important and interesting, but only a few can be classed as pivotal. The Battle of Waterloo, which put an end to the tyrant rule of Napoleon as the Emperor of France, was one of them. 200 years on, it has been commemorated, with Fort Paul in East Yorkshire being pivotal to safeguarding our region.
It's a Napoleonic fort, and the reason it was built here is because it's the highest point on the Humber. As you can see, we've got a perfect overall view of the Humber, so any ships advancing up the Humber to attack Hull could be shot upon from Fort Paul. Because it's the highest point, they've got a clear view.
Yorkshire's only remaining Napoleonic fortress attracts hundreds of visitors a month, with 500 years of history to explore.
We do various different events, car rallies, reenactments, things like that, so there's something for everyone. We have all different waxworks, we have the underground tunnels, we've got the best replica of the Crown Jewels, we've got the only remaining Blackburn Beverley aircraft. It gets you there. You know, when I came here nearly 20 years ago, I only came here for a week to do a small job, and I'm still here today.
The next planned event is to offer an insight into the weapons and methods used during the Lace Wars, living history at its best. Erica Barker, Estuary TV.
Now joining me for a weekly look at what's happening in the world of local politics is Erica Barker. Erica, going to start off because the big story today, of course, is the Young's announcement and the fact that Martin Vickers, we saw earlier on Prime Minister's Questions, didn't we?
Yeah, he has. He has brought it up in Prime Minister's Questions. Now, David Cameron has said that the company is talking with employees and that they are standing by that and that they will continue to invest in the Regional Growth Fund. He was also saying that if you look in the broader perspective, it is, you know, we do have positive things going on as well. If you look at Able UK Marine Energy Park, 4,000 jobs could be created. You've got the Siemens investment. But he is saying that, you know, they are listening to the concerns of employees with regards to this news.
Okay. One thing I've noticed, though, that the statement that Young's actually released doesn't make reference, does it, to the amount of job losses? Does it mention them at all?
In the press release I have read, it doesn't. I have heard reports that it is around 330 jobs.
Okay.
So whether they've spoke to people directly, I'm not sure. But we are thinking that it is around 330 that could be lost.
And is that purely at their Grimsby site, or does that cover Fraserburgh up in Scotland as well? Do you know?
I think that is within the Grimsby site.
Because that's a lot of job losses.
That is a lot of job losses. It
but
is
like you said, there are positives as well to come out of that. Now, the next one, of course, we've got going on is the public inquiry, which we've had in the news, which started yesterday, to do with the development at Scartho near Grimsby, haven't we?
Yeah, so this is a 160 house development. Now, Sidon Homes want to build these houses. Now, their planning was rejected, their application was rejected, and this has led to a 6-day public inquiry, which did start 2 days ago. So we'll have to, you know, to wait to see what the news is on that.
Now, I did go to the first day just to listen to the opening statements. Now, obviously, Sidon have put in the appeal, but obviously there's the Scartho Village Action Group were there putting their case forward because they have lots of reasons, I think, to do with drainage, highway safety, landscaping, housing supply. And I do know that the planning inspector hoped that it would be done and dusted by 6 days, but he did think they were being optimistic. So I think it's quite a big one, and maybe will set a precedent for any future cases. Rather quickly, your next one, Hull have won an award, haven't they?
They've won an award for implementing green projects. So this is making homes more energy efficient, reducing residents' fuelling, to dismiss fuel poverty, to reduce bills, looking at carbon emissions, and they've got Council of the Year for that.
Wow, that's great. Well, that's all we've got time for, Erica. Thank you for popping in. And now it's over to the sports news.
Ice hockey team Hull Stingrays have gone into liquidation. Owner Bobby McEwen says it's due to a number of factors, including the loss of a major sponsorship deal and increased operational costs. This means that Hull will be without a senior hockey team for the first time in 27 years. Grimsby Town have confirmed the signing of former Bristol Rovers midfielder Andy Monkhouse. The 34-year-old has agreed a one-year deal at Blundell Park. It comes after rejecting new terms to stay at the Memorial Stadium following their promotion to League Two last season. Hull United have appointed Ian Ashby as the club's new chairman, who, despite undertaking his new role, will continue to assist manager Curtis Woodhouse. Ashby has a 5-year plan targeting promotion this coming season in his quest to take the club to the Conference North Division League, where North Ferriby are now. And Hull FC half-back Mark Sneyd will miss his side's next 2 games against Leeds Rhinos and the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats after his dangerous tackle last weekend against Danny Maguire. It was thought it could have been out for more games before Sneyd was deemed to have made minimal contact with Maguire. And some of the biggest names in cycling will be at the National Time Trial Champions being held at Cadwell Park near Louth tomorrow, including Dame Sarah Estuary and 3-time champion Alex Dorset. And that's all from the sport.
I want to see Grimsby put on the map.
Extraordinary qualities, unmatched in anywhere else in Britain.
We need to act with one voice.
I was absolutely shocked, I'll tell you the truth.
More police officer hours spent on patrol preventing crimes from happening.
That's it for tonight. Thank you to my guests. If you have a news story, then visit our Facebook or Twitter pages, details on the screen, or email news@estuary.tv. Until tomorrow, good night.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. A bright and mainly dry day on Thursday. Some light rain is possible at times in the west and a maximum temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. Friday is going to be cloudy and breezy with some rain at times and clearing later.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.